Country rap tune.
Is that even though my success has come from books and TV and film, people don't realize my real original passion was music. I come from a big musical family. Like my favorite.
I heard you could sing a little bit.
I used to be able to sing a tune or two. Back in the day. My favorite cousin Bobby, his grandmother is Dinah Washington. B.B. King is related to us. Like my uncle Sammy Fender was a well-known blues guitarist. My mother was in a singing group with all her first cousins. Her and all our first cousins used to have a gospel singing group that was known in the city of Chicago. Okay, here's the small world we live in. One of my mother's first cousins, Purcell, was in that singing group with my mother. You work with his grandson, his namesake, Purcell.
The boy jamming. Yeah. Shout out to Purcell, man. Jamming, man.
Yeah, so Purcell is named after his grandfather, whose name was Purcell. But his grandfather, Purcell, was my mother's first cousin. So Purcell, my mother, my cousin Bobby, whose grandmother's Dinah Washington, his mom, Bessie, all of them were in a singing group called the Jones Singers.
Oh, damn.
And they were like a known gospel group. So music is, and I'm a PK. My grandma was a preacher. My mother eventually became a preacher. So I grew up having to be in church. Right. I was in church 7 days a week. Church kids be the worst.
The worst.
So I grew up in church around music. My grandfather, rest in peace, Pops, my grandfather played the guitar. So on Sunday mornings, we would go to my grandmother's church. My grandmother would preach. My grandfather would run the music ministry and play his guitar, which he only know how to play the blues. So he would just do blues remixes of gospel tunes.
I know that's right.
And so I wanted to be a rapper. That's how this all started. 10-year-old me.
Me and you both. Ain't that something?
Yep. 10-year-old me wanted to be a rapper. And I remember I used to get Miami used to put out Miami bass beat tapes. That was just the beats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I would go get Miami bass beat tapes, and in my double recorder, I would press play and let the Miami bass beats start playing, and then I would record my vocals on top of that. And the whole thing started with me wanting to be a rapper. I started a rap group in my neighborhood. It was like 8 girls in the group, and I wrote everybody's rap. I kept a little notebook, and I wrote everybody's verse and just get them their verse, and we would do talent shows and stuff. And so when I went out to when I came to Atlanta, I was 19. It was 1995. I was trying to find jobs. I reached out to my cousin Gerald, who was locked up. We called him Dum Dum. My cousin Dum Dum. I reached out to him. He was locked up, and he connected me with Dallas to get an internship at Dallas. So I got my internship at DARP in the middle of fucking Freaknik, right? Damn. In the middle of Freaknik, I'm working at DARP as an intern. For Dallas. And the cool thing about when you're the intern, it was your job to relieve the receptionist. So a lot of times when I would be at DARP, the receptionist would, go out and I would have to cover the desk. Well, you covering the desk at DARP right then. You talking to everybody on the phone. You talking to everybody in the business on the phone. You're interacting with everybody in the business when they come to the desk.
Plug.
Yeah, it was like the most plugged job ever. And so from there, I started connecting with other people, and I would get jobs. Like, I started working with this one guy who got me a job as a roadie. I was a roadie for a long time, and he would do a lot of the outdoor sound events at, like, Stone Mountain Park, different places like that. So I got to roadie for people like the White Stripes, and Erykah Badu, and, like, all these people when they would do these live shows, because I was working for this guy that I had met during that time at DARP, and I would roadie, just freelance roadieing, getting to work on these shows. So that's actually how my career started. I feel like I had a lot of starts and fails. So I have a lot of starting points. Yeah. But that first starting point was in music. It was interning at DARP.
Country rap tune.